What's up, everyone? This is the Raw Tree coming back with part 5. And this one called Society and the Absent Father. And this is by Roberta L. Coles. And Roberta L. Coles, she's also a co-author of the book The Myth of the Missing Black Fathers. And she's a co-author with Robert Greene. You know, and yes, Roberta L. Coles, she's a studier, the professor, along with Robert Greene. But it says a new study on father involvement has given a long needed facelift to the image of black fatherhood in America. Released by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, it indicates that black men, while living more non co-residential, that's not living with the mother, children, uh, children than white or Hispanic men, were more involved with their children on nearly every measure than were white or Hispanic fathers, whether they lived with their children or not. How many studies are there? And if you get the book, I don't have it, but when I looked at the summary of it, and you can go to Amazon and look, this is not only studied by professors, this was studied in colleges, universities. So it was dozens upon dozens of studies. It's not just two or three motherfuckers sitting around, we're going to uplift black men. No, this, I'm telling you, that's why I had to read it and study this more, because I was stunned at how much fucking articles were out there. Now I'm just reading 3 and they're saying the same fucking thing. Black men rule. And it says every measure than the white Hispanic fathers, okay, whether they live with their children or not. This apparently came as a surprise to many people. No, of course, it was a fucking surprise for me. It was a fucking surprise to me. Why was it a surprise to me? Well, I have my suspicion because of like I said, I was one of those. The Raw Truth was one of the guys who grew up in group home, and I grew up in group home. You know, never knew my dad. My mom did get married the wrong guy. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things happened, and I wound up being in group home. And being a group home is where, you know, we get kids all around the areas, you know, that pile up in one place. So you may get folks from south, get folks from north, you know, and it's all around Pennsylvania. And I began to understand that when I became a leader in group homes. You know, I've been in group home for almost 8 years. But when I started my leadership in group home, I was 12 years old. I was 12 years old, and I broke record as being the youngest group leader ever. And I shattered the record, and the record was 15 years old. I beat it by 3 years, 12 years old. And I realized by me talking to kids, you know, the more kids, and I dealt with thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of kids, that 90% of them are coming from single mothers, and I was relating to them. So, you know, I always had an issue with black men. I always grew up thinking that the black men were no good. You know, I grew up without a father. Fuck him. But, you know, as I got older, I began to see that something is wrong here. Something is wrong here. And suspicious started to become fact. And the more, and when I started dealing with social media and like YouTube and looking up articles, you know, it started to validate that, okay, it's not a suspicion, it's not a stereotype, it is fact. But when these articles start coming out, I said, now I knew I was on the right track. Now I know I was on the right track. But it says, again, this apparently came as a surprise to many people. I conducted a small qualitative study of black single custodial fathers during the early 2000s and wrote Best Kept Secret, Black Single Fathers. I interviewed 20 men who were parents full time to at least one of their biological children. Additionally, some parented children who were not theirs biologically. They had come to single parenthood following non marital birth, divorce, widowhood, or adoption. All had come into custody by choice, as even the fathers who had been widowed or divorced had had alternatives offered to them. You know that, and that shows you that even when we stepfathers, we kick ass. We stand the fuck up and take care of the Pookie and Ray Ray's children. We man the fuck up. Or is that man the fuck up? I'm gonna stop saying that, because even if you don't take care of Pookie Ray Ray's children, that's not your responsibility. But at least, we do say, okay, we're gonna take care of other people's children. See, and that's why when that dumb scumbag, that scum of the earth, that bitch ass nigga, Barack Obama made that speech, that was a smack in these fathers who stood up and just say, okay, I'm going to take care of children that aren't mine. That was a smack in their face, because black women, I didn't hear you stand up for them. I didn't hear you black women saying, well, no, shoot, even though we go out there and be whores and sluts, we can always know that our men are going to help us with our children. Y'all didn't even stand up for us. Y'all brought that bullshit lie from that stupid ass, dumbass, Freemason, satanic buffoon Barack Obama. Y'all brought his lies like crazy and didn't stick up for your own man. Shame on you, black woman. Shame on you. And it says, each made a conscious decision. Some had to fight for the right to take custody of their children. These were dedicated dads, and you gotta understand, men have always fought for their children. Every time they enter court, that's a fight. And any man that fights for his children, even though the state will always rule for the black woman, you're dedicated dad. Fuck you, black woman. They're dedicated. I followed that book up with with the edited volume with Charles Green. Oh, not Robert Green. Charles Green. My bad. Charles Green. The myth of the missing black father. The persistence of black fatherhood in America. Our point was to show the stereotype of the absent black father, one that seemed to fit with so many other stereotypes society held of black, was based on the faulty assumption that non-co-residence means non-involvement. Black fatherhood is a varied experience, one that has my goodness, I cannot pronounce this word, persisted despite great odds. Nevertheless, I don't discount the experience of many black children and adults whose fathers were not present in their lives. Many are pained by their absence. Many of the single fathers I interviewed were among those wounded and were motivated to parent full time because they wanted to be the kind of father they did not have, or to break the cycle of a neglectful father. You gotta understand that, and that kills what black women have always saying. Oh, the reason why these men been hurt. Well, these men who had piece of shit fathers decided not to be piece of shit fathers. So we have men coming out of that era where they just want to break the curse. I'm one of them. I want to break the curse. That's why the raw truth at 41 years old have no children, because I want to bring them through a wife. Make fun of me all you want. Talk about me all you want. Oh, you just ain't getting no pussy. Well, if that means that I'm not going to be a burden on my nation and a burden on my community, well, go ahead and be that burden. But you'll always be a shameful bastard, son of a bitch, who ain't shit. Then notice people think that being a non-custodian or a man who's not living with his woman's children means that he's a bad parent. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. People like to redefine words and shit. And it says, my concern now is that in society needs to find fault. This recent data on black fatherhood could lead observers to demonize Hispanic fathers. Oh shit. Their involvement measured consistently lowest in countries to another to work. Oh, excuse me. I skipped a line. Their involvement measures consistently lowest in studies. U.S. Hispanic fathers are often men who migrate from one state to another or from one country to another to work. Thus, they are separated from their children. They take away instead of trying to identify the bad dad. We should support all parents in their quest to provide financial, emotionally, and socially for their children. And you know what? It's right because lot of so-called Hispanics and stuff. I wouldn't, even though they're not involved with their children. They're trying their best to take care of their family. So you know what, Hispanics, my Hispanic brothers and sisters, I'm gonna put you right up there with the black man. Black and Hispanic man, we rule over the white man. Black woman, how do you feel? How do you feel now? Do you hate us now that the studies have proved that the black and Hispanic man are number one? And the reason why is because when Hispanic men come over here, they treat them like shit. They put them in the kitchen in a racist Irish bar, have them working for minimum wage, working all kind of hours. They don't have that time themselves to take care of their children, and because they have to go country to country or state to state, they take care of their children. They send money home to their children, so they may not be there physically, but they're there financially, and they speak to their children on the phone. I know this shit because I worked in the fucked up Irish bar restaurants myself. The so-called Mexicans, they were sending money. They was talking over the telephone. They cared about their children. So I'm black and Hispanic brothers. My Hispanic brothers, I love you. You are ranked up there with the black man. We coming number one, and we're crushing the white man like crazy. So Hispanic man, black, stand up with the black man. Black and Hispanic man, stand up. Give yourself a round of applause, because regardless of how the odds is against us, regardless of how much our woman is against us, regardless of how much the laws is against us, law enforcement, all this shit, child support is against us, they can never take away that we coming number one and taking care of our kids, and we always been that, and it's still now that we have been told that we are great dads. Ain't a damn thing, black woman, that you can do about it. Ain't a damn thing y'all can say about it. And the reason why is because we got this shit on our side. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Black man, Hispanic man, we can breathe a sigh of relief. Now, don't go fucking up. Don't make me fucking regret doing this story. Why? Because when you working real hard and somebody tell you that you're doing something good and you're a good worker, a lot of times we do get lax. I ain't gonna lie. We do get lax. We fall into that, okay, I could be lazy a little bit. No, let's kick up the heat. It's already been proven that black and Hispanic men, that we dominate. Because we're good. Black and Hispanic, man. This is what I'm talking about. And I only read one article. I didn't read the other two. I was stunned that it just mirrors each other. And you have to understand, too, these people who did these studies didn't know each other. They didn't know each other. And also there's colleges and the universities and the institutions that also did these studies. They didn't know that nobody else was doing these studies. They just started to find other people who were doing these studies, and they were stunned to see how everybody was saying the same damn thing. So fuck you, white society, and your media who lied on us. Fuck you, black woman who wanted to demonize us. But we, black and Hispanic man, once again, give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself a round of applause. And let's keep the fire up. I'm coming back with part 6. I gotta do a part 6. Peace! I'll be back.